Here are two lenses I think every beginner Fujifilm user should get, in my opinion. Because these were the first two lenses that I started out with, and I think they were a great source of inspiration to get me started and really kind of sustained my love for Fujifilm. Now, in a previous video, we talked about the camera that I would suggest if you were just starting out. So if you are looking for the camera, you may want to go here now. However, we are talking about lenses here today, and these are the first two lenses that I purchased. One came with the camera that I bought, the Fujifilm X-T3. That was the first Fujifilm camera that I bought, and I also bought this as well to go with it. So in this video, I basically just will go over some of the features and some of my experiences when using these lenses. The first lens that I am suggesting, and I think a lot of people tend to get when they buy their Fujifilm camera, is the kit lens, the 18 to 55mm Fujifilm kit lens. This lens is sublime. It is a work of art. I think it's underrated. I've made a video about why I think it's underrated. Again, you can go find that on my channel, but I don't think I would have bought this lens had it not come with the camera, because kit lenses are notoriously, they're not great. But this one is, I think, an exception. Now, as you can see with some of the photos I've taken over the last 2020, I think I got it during lockdown. And it is a lens that has stuck with me from the beginning, with my Fujifilm journey, I mean. And I also can't tell you how many times I've almost sold this lens. It's definitely over 10 times. I have bought a lens thinking it's going to solve all my problems, and then I revert back. I just finished an event recently where I used the 16 to 55. I was shooting predominantly photos. However, I was asked to do a little bit of video, and I just would have loved to have had in my possession that 18 to 55. And you might be asking why? Because the kit lens has built-in OIS, optical image stabilization, whereas the 16 to 55mm doesn't. Again, I've talked about the differences between the 16 to 55 and the 18 to 55 in a previous video. You can check out all of my content on my channel where I kind of ruminate lenses and cameras. But for some reason, I'm always drawn back to this little lens. Now, some of the features that make it so good is that optical image stabilization. It only weighs 330 grams. You can pick it up for roughly $551, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than that 16 to 55. It's a nice kind of metal build, and it's small. It is somewhat pocketable. It's very travel friendly, and the image quality is, you know, the chef's kiss. It really, I think, you know, people have commented on my channel about this lens being not that great, but I think it's stunning, and it pairs perfectly with all the Fuji cameras I've owned, from the XS20, the XH2S, the X Pro 3 and the XT3. All those cameras, it just sat on there perfectly, and as a hybrid shooter it really delivers. So as a beginner, you will probably end up with this lens because, as I did, there was a deal on and it came with a camera, and I thought, well, that's a good place to start. It's a good focal length. 18mm to 55 is a good kind of focal range, which on a full frame is roughly 26 to 83mm. So you're starting at a good place. If you're like me and a lot of other people that I spoke to recently, you'll find they'll agree that it is a lens that just keeps popping up in discussion. It seems to do a lot of the jobs that we want it to do. We want it to be compact, small, have that optical image stabilization, all those traits. So that's what makes it such a powerful and good little lens. And I've always been amazed at, you know, how well it has performed. But also, here are some things to know. I mean, it's not perfect. It does have flaws. So for one, it's not weather resistant, which can definitely be important if you are a landscape photographer or you like to shoot on the streets. It also has a variable aperture ranging from 2.8 at its widest to 4. So possibly not the best in low light conditions, and sometimes the autofocus is a little bit off. It's a bit shabby. So yeah, it's not the best, but it's such a good beginner lens. It's something as a professional I still consider, I still use, and depending on what camera I've got, that might lend to the job, to the thing that I need for either recreational use or, you know, some professional work. Like I said, I could have used it in that event the other day just for the image stabilization for video. Yeah, the kit lens. I mean, we come back to it again and again, and I know there's a lot of Fuji lovers and fans out there that, you know, rave about this lens, and I do too. I honestly think it's a quality product. Now, I just want to interrupt this video quickly to talk about the sponsor of this video, which is from me. I am now running one-to-one sessions on how to grow your YouTube channel as a photographer. So if you are interested, go to my website, find out all the info, and you can always DM me or email me, and I will do my best to get back to you with any questions you have. We have been running these for the last couple of months, and I'm really happy that I've been able to meet some of you who watch my videos. I've been having some great sessions, and I've been learning a lot from you as well. So do get in touch if you have any questions, and I look forward to meeting you. Okay, so the second lens that I bought to go with my Fujifilm X-T3, which, by the way, I don't own anymore. I moved on to the H2S after that. But I loved the X-T3, and again, another quality camera, and maybe a good starter camera. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. But the second lens that I want to talk about is the 35mm f2. This has to be my favorite 35mm for the Fujifilm. I've had this since day one with the kit lens, and it's awesome. It's such a compact little lens of, I think, a lot of character. Some say it's clinical, but I disagree. I think it's slightly flawed, and I think it gives character to my photos. Again, I've paired this with many of my Fujifilm cameras, and it sits perfectly on there. The one I like to pair it with most is my X Pro 3, which I use for street photography. That camera, that whole setup is my go-to street photography camera, and I love it so much. It's just been such a joy to use, and something that I'm really digging. Again, at the moment, it's just living on there. Yeah, I love how it's weather sealed. It's really inexpensive. It's a tough little thing. You know, I can throw this around. It's small, lightweight, compact, all those things that you want in a lens that's, you know, not going to hinder your performance. I've used this for both professional and recreational use, and again, it's a small, powerful hitter. It does the job I need. But obviously, for things like video, it is out of the question. I tried to use this for video in Ireland recently, and just forgot that, you know, this is just not a lens for video. It's actually probably the worst lens you could probably use for video. The focal length is terrible, and so too is the optical image stabilization. So forget about it. Don't even go near it for video. But if you are a photographer, you're looking to do street photography, maybe some portraiture, things like that, this lens is great. F2 is quite wide. It's not the widest of the 35mm. There is a 1.4. I know a lot of people like that, but I like this for its character and for its compactability, how it kind of tidies up in my kit bag. You know, as a aesthetic shallowness, I love the way it looks on my X Pro 3. It's a good looking setup. Fujifilm cameras, I think, look great, and so do their lenses. If you get a good pair, and it just looks, you know, does look good around your neck, like, you know, just saying. But that's not why we buy cameras or lenses. I know, but it's just a point I'm trying to kind of say. But I've had it from the start. I've never considered getting rid of this though, not like the kit lens. This is something that I'm really happy just to stick on my shelf and use from time to time. There are plenty of lenses, you know, I love to play with, but that one's staying put, and I've got maybe some sentimentality with it because it was my first prime lens and my first kind of into taking photography predominantly with Fujifilm. So yeah, they are the two lenses that I would offer. Like I said, if you haven't seen my offering about which Fujifilm camera you should start off with, go check that out. It's just previous to this one. So I would say that, you know, pairing these two lenses with that camera would be a formidable pairing. However, though, I am interested in what you guys think. What two lenses would you offer a beginner? What would you say to someone just starting out in the Fujifilm realm? What would you suggest? I think these are two great starter lenses, and I think you can have loads of fun with them. They're inexpensive and they take great photos. And like I said, with the kit lens, great video. But like I said, tell me what you think. Right, that's going to do it for this one. Don't forget to check out the one-to-one sessions, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.